Thanks, Keys. Sorry, I always do. I always mute it while I'm on the standby situation just because I'm clicking and typing and all, talking to Mojo and stuff. And I always forget to unmute myself. It's been 4 years of muting and unmuting and I still haven't figured it out. Thank you, Keys and Alessandra. I appreciate it. Hello, Alessandra. Hello, Keys. We have Christian here. Oh my goodness. Okay, just got in. Perfect timing. Well, you just jumped down, mister. Do you want to play the game or no? Hang on. We have an unmute somewhere. YouTube is inconsistent with its scenario. No, we're not going to play. You're going to come sit with me. YouTube is inconsistent with its mute unmute. So sorry. Okay. Ugh. Give me 2 seconds here while I sort myself out here. Okay, I can see everybody. A late client today. Oh, a new job. That's exciting. Congratulations. We like new jobs. Okie dokie, Smoky. Okay. So how's everybody doing tonight? Last week we worked on this second card in the tarot deck. She is the fortune teller. She's the 3 of Wands, or tense in this case. So this is another black and white card. The next card I'd like to do is one of the color cards so that we can kind of figure out that formula. I also have a fancy dancy cheat sheet here that I'm going to start filling out to make sure that I have the right brushes and sizes and colors and strokes and everything to be consistent. And then I'm going to build an Adobe library, I think, around that so that this whole project itself can be consistent. Once we figured out what seems to be working and what isn't as we go through. But I think we're only 1.5 cards in, so now's not the time. I'm just going to make some my own notes now so I'm not bouncing back and forth between files too often. Alessandra says, a new therapist for a children job. That's cool. Hopefully it goes really well for you. That's a very unique field for sure. Okay, so last week we did all of our paper patterns and we laid them all out. We didn't get as far as shading, but that's where we're going to start today. For those of you who were not here, the flames of the candles we are going to leave for a little bit. We're going to wait till we're a little further along because I don't think we're going to paper pattern those. I think I'm going to make those glow and kind of really stand out. But I think we're going to get started with some shading today because there's a lot more black and white here that doesn't have heavy patterns. So I think we can really kind of play with what we did on the kittens card here and see if it works when there's a lot more black. Because we don't have, like, we just have kind of accents of red, that big red hair and everything we had in the last card isn't present here. So this is where I want to try and find the balance and make sure that it still works when we're in this kind of area. So we're going to work on some shading. I'm going to actually go back to the kittens card first for a second because I'm going to see if I can find what highlight colors I had and what shadow colors I had and make notes of those for now. So if I go into my palette, thank goodness my palette's nice and tiny. Okay, so let's see what I can find here. What will this tell me? So I think this one's our highlight, I think. Does it not tell me the, like, number of it? Okay, I'll go back and I'm going to can I not favorite a color? Pickles. This is a future me problem. We will not figure this out on the live. I thought there was a way to kind of get the specific colors. I will just do what we're doing here today and we will figure out the colors specifically using Illustrator and Photoshop a little bit later, or using the desktop app. That's what we'll do. So what I want to do is ignore that. And then we're going to put in a new layer to overlay, and this is part for the red. So we're going to find something similar. I think it was this one. Maybe. Just want to find the proper things. Okay, good. All right. How was the event? Your table looked great. Thank you so much, Alessandra. Yeah, I had a market this weekend. My very first one ever. We had pretty crummy weather, but overall the event went really well. It was unfortunately like the 5 rainiest hours of the whole weekend, but we were able to make the best of it. The people that were there were amazing. They were really supportive and really helpful, and gave great feedback. And I had really awesome feedback on my art. People liked a variety of different things, which was great. So I know what to kind of keep working on and emphasize for the next one. So yeah, not the best weather, but definitely still worked out really nicely. So made some really good contacts, have some ideas for next time, but a lot of people seem to be really excited about the booth as it was, even given that I was a first timer. So that was kind of exciting to hear that the table was kind of exciting to people. So that's a good start. People liked different elements of the art. The different gnomes had some good response. People really liked the look of it. We were right near where our local hockey team was playing. So we were and they're in the playoffs right now. So we were kind of hoping to leverage that proximity for the event. As people would like go to dinner and then go to the hockey game, they might stop by because they passed through. Unfortunately, it was pretty rainy at that point. So people were just kind of like running to the event, but that's okay. Some people still did stop, and we did get to talk to them a little bit, give them some feedback. It like gave me some feedback on the work that they were seeing and what they'd like to see more of. Some people didn't want to buy because they were going into the game, but may contact me later. So that's exciting potential. So I'm very stoked. I'm very happy with how it went. I was a little kind of like unsure. I had a few emotions when we left because I wasn't sure how to handle it. Also, I didn't know what to expect, but it went really, really well overall. Now that I'm rested and I'm warm, I feel a lot better about how it went. And so it was really great. A really, really good event with really good response. So I think it went well, and I'm excited for the next one. Alexander says, mine's slowly getting close on June 8th. I just ordered some stuff for materials I like to use to display my art. Yeah, I think my only suggestion for that, like everybody seemed to think that mine was pretty like put together, which is great. I've also been going to craft shows since I was in diapers. So we've been doing a lot of craft shows, and I did a lot of research on went to a lot of markets, went to a lot of events just to see what people were using and what I wanted to kind of replicate or felt I could maybe improve on for different things. So I'm very excited. What event are you referring to? My very first market for my illustrations, Keys. I did my very first market this weekend. I displayed my art. So my website is hues-tones.square.site. And it's, so I have the gnomes that you see on my Behance. I have them in cards and prints, some stickers. I also have my color your own bookmarks. Some of them we had created on the live initially. So we were able to work through those. So I sold quite a few of those. Those are pretty popular, especially once me or my sister informed them that I use it for tracking my reading. People freaked out a little bit. So we sold quite a few of those, which was great. So yeah, my very first market, and not a huge like sales success, but no one really had huge sales success that day. Everybody's kind of on their way through. But I also, based off of feedback I'm hearing from other markets in the area, I think people are just kind of not spending money a lot right now. So I think it's kind of a universal thing. So I'm not going to get hung up on the numbers of the sales or anything. The experience itself was really great. Oh yes, and it was outside. Sorry, informing. A key piece that I always kind of forget. I've always known it's been outside, so I forget. It was outside, and it was raining a lot, so people weren't hanging out at all the booths for too long. We kind of tried to set mine up so that people could come in and get dry, but that wasn't the case for everybody. So not everybody felt that way about the booths. So they all just kind of dispersed. So it's all good. And it was raining a lot. Yeah, I got simple stuff. I use a lot of colors in every market I go to. That's a good idea. Bright things that will draw people in, which is great. This isn't like Artist Alley Keys. This was kind of almost more farmer's market approach, like outdoor summer market, because there were people that had like candles and jewelry, and I was kind of the only illustrator that I can think of. But we had people from kind of all different walks. So more farmer's market-y, not like vegetables and things, but more kind of a craft show style thing. So variety of different kinds of artists were at this one. Not an Artist Alley and conventions. I'm not there yet. Llama No Drama. Excellent sign choice. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm very excited about talking about the market, so I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to get some highlights here. Yes, so it was in the pouring rain. We had, in the morning, the coordinator was asking us if we wanted to wait till next weekend to do it. Luckily, a lot of people said no when we went ahead. I said no, I wanted to do it that weekend because I was already ready. I was very eager to get it done. But most of the people agreed to doing it, which is great. And everybody was on board, and most people were in a pretty good energy. Some people were not, but luckily for us, they left pretty early. So they didn't bring the rest of us down. And, we all just kind of made the best of it. We were all in the same boat. It was all kind of a rainy day, but you know what? It wasn't too windy, which is great. Like some people got wet, and we had a pretty good luck with our tent in that it wasn't very leaky. We did at one point have to try and empty some rain from the top of our tents, and it was kind of an adventure. We got a little bit wet, but none of the product got ruined, so that's the key part. Just kind of made for a really good story. So like I said, now that I'm dry and warm, I'm feeling a lot better about it. And overall, a really great experience. So I'm not, it wasn't how I pictured it, but it went really well. It was really good. And I'm going back to the same market in October and one in November in the time for the holidays. So I'm very excited. And there's a couple others that have come up lately that I've applied for, but I don't know if I'll get into them. They're kind of like pretty popular ones. So as a newbie, I anticipate not necessarily being picked, but I'm just putting my name out there and see what happens. And now that I have all the product ready to go, I'm good to go. Okay, so for what we're working on today, we're working on the new fortune teller card that we got started with last week's live. And I'm just kind of throwing down the bigger shadows right now and the highlights. And then we're going to put the lighter ones in just in the same kind of style that we did on the last one. And see how it comes together. Like I said, the ratio to black and red on this one is a little different. So I want to make sure that this plays out nicely. Because these first 3 or 4, 5 cards are going to be kind of our test cards for the style and make sure that we're on the right track. So now that the market's done, I'm actually pretty eager to kind of sit and just kind of work into this a little bit and kind of just pick away at it. I'm planning to have a pretty quiet couple weeks for myself for now, and then we're going to get into the summer where I work on this kind of project and stuff, and then closer to the fall, like later in the summer, I'll be getting back into market things because I want to have some fall themed work and some Christmas themed ones. Like the November one's going to be my big Christmas push. But for right now, I'm just going to take a market break because I've been doing this since at least January. So I'm going to take a little break. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so the big red shadows. Now we're going to put on the shadows. So we're going to do multiply. And oh, Alessandra's got June, August, and October. Nice. Yeah, one of the ones I applied for is in June. But like I said, it's called, there's an artist here called Soft Flirt, and she does kind of like screen printing a lot, but she also does murals. They're friggin' fantastic. And I've met her a couple times through the Hello Maker that I've been to, the studio I keep talking about. And she did this event last year. And like anybody I talk to who does markets, it's like, did you do this? Did you go to the Soft Flirt event? Did you go to the Soft Flirt event? It's like everything, only thing anybody's talking about. And I didn't go last year because I didn't know what it was. So I applied for it this year. They just had applications, and we find out tomorrow if we got it or not. Nope, just leave them alone, please. You're being a good boy. But I like I said, I'm kind of new to this, so I suspect not being chosen for that one. But I'm just, like I said, just get my name out there and see what's happening. And I already have all the products that I would need. But you know, I am eager to kind of ease into the summer. The summer's pretty full, so I'm very excited to also just kind of like sit and do some of my own artwork for a tiny bit too. A good balance to enjoy it all. You folks in the US have a lot of fairs, conventions, markets, and such. I'm fairly certain you do great on larger markets. Thank you. I love that feedback. Yeah, especially in the summer, I find, in my area anyway, like, because the weather's so nice, and I think it's because we also like kind of balancing like the super crappy winter weather. I think everybody likes to really get out in the summer and do things. So I know here where I'm at, we have almost like a big fair, like a big festival of some kind at one of our main parks, almost like every 2 weekends or so. There's something big going on. Different themes, like one's, I don't know if Home County's a thing still, but it used to be a big craft fair, that one. Like I loved going to that one because it was all local artisans of some kind, jewelry, art, all that kind of fun stuff. And then the Sunfest is coming, which is more of a music festival. Things like that. So yeah, throughout the summer, it's huge here, is always having kind of some sort of something, because I think we only have so many nice weekends and nice times before the winter comes and kind of makes a mess that we want to be outside as much as we can. So yeah, we're pretty big on farmers markets and craft shows in the winter for sure, but all these outdoor events and things, they're a pretty big deal in the summer because everybody wants to get outside, like even food festivals, all that kind of fun. So yeah, it's great feedback, Keys. Okay, this won't take too long because we only have so much red here, and then we'll get into the black and white and see how it goes. So yeah, all a fun experience because it was really cool on the market side of things to have a little bit of a new perspective. Like I feel like the online market, I have a lot of like friends and family, which is super helpful, great feedback and everything. But having complete like strangers react to your work kind of in front of you, not behind a screen, was really interesting. And it was cool to see what people liked and their responses and stuff. It was really cool. One guy wanted to make a gallery wall of all the gnomes, which was very exciting. And one gentleman really liked and purchased my fortune teller, the sticker that I have there. He really liked her a lot. So I personally want to make a pile of prints of that one, but I also know that it's kind of a acquired taste. It's not everybody's jam. So I'm gonna put some feelers out to see what I can do there. But he really liked that one. So just cool to see what people thought of and reacted to. So all good, interesting things. Oops. Super fun. Okay, so I think we have our main pieces here. We're going to get into the smaller ones. Okay, thanks Alessandra for tuning in. Have a good night. Good luck with your new job. That's exciting. We'll see you next week. Okay. So last time I did kind of like the smaller sections highlighted and shaded, which is what we're going to do on the bow on the hat. But we had a different approach to like the full sections that weren't broken down, kind of like the lips and the circle here, but there's such a small space. I'm thinking out loud if I want to handle these differently. I'm going to wait. We're not going to worry about that. We're just going to worry about the hat right now. So this is another multiply layer, and we're going to do the same shading that we had, but I'm just going to make it smaller. And we're going to put in the sorry, I gotta check the other card and see how small I did these. I kind of want to match the style. I should really have this up on my, because it's such a big file. I'll get this up on my computer is what I'll do. Okay, we're good. So I just want to emulate this kind of shading on here. Okay, I see what I did. Okay. So we're going to take a similar approach to the normal stained glass work we've been doing. So the approach I decided on last time was to, instead of highlighting and shading each individual section, I'm just highlighting where the highlight is and adding shadows where the shadows are, so that I don't create too much information. Now I have to make this a little smaller. Actually, I'm going to make a note here for erasers. I'm just going to make a document for all my sizes and things, so I won't have to guess through some of the ones coming up. I've only been to Comic-Con many years ago, found the artist alley to be full of interesting stuff, many web comics, but in print illustrations and everything. Yeah, there's actually a big one in Toronto next week, and a friend of mine, her husband's actually going to it, and I know a lot of like my roommates and friends from school have done that quite a bit. I haven't really thought about that too much, just because my art isn't really comic book style art. It would be like I have like the Iron Man and the Black Panther that I did and things. But if people do take just regular illustrations and kind of like interpretations of things, I might give it a shot. That would be awesome. Because I know people do like different kinds of art, and I know people like to do like commissions and things, like get custom art done as well. So definitely something I'll consider, because I know the London Comic Con's kind of a big deal, so maybe I'll build some more portfolio pieces and try and see if there's something to put in there for the Comic-Con crowd. I know we had Free Comic Book Day recently here, and they would talk about Comic-Con, but I can't recall the dates of it. I'll have to take a look. The London one anyway. So I think like the highlights and the shadows are a little backwards here, but I think I really need them to be backwards to emphasize the shape of the bow here. So that's just why I'm doing that. Oops. Yeah. I'm also interested in trying like your suggestion of Comic-Con keys is interesting because I am interested in trying different kinds of places just to see where people respond to different pieces of art and different kind of styles. Like I went to there's a they call it the punk rock flea market here, and it's a market that they do, and artists and all that kind of stuff come out. Same kind of idea as the one I was at, but it was a different style for sure. Like I went to it just to kind of get some booth ideas and some presentation ideas and signs and things like that. But definitely not really the place for my gnomes. Definitely more place for my fortune teller, sea witch, that kind of art would fit in better there. So I just want to see how this goes first before I kind of like break myself into two. I already have a lot invested into what we're doing for now. And I also think like the gnomes and the bookmarks are kind of more universal and accessible to a lot of people, where I'm very aware that like the fortune teller and all that kind of stuff, the Behance Beauties and stuff, isn't really everybody's jam. But that's what this research is for. So that's what I like about this, is the opportunity there. And I lost sight of that a little bit on Saturday. So I'm glad that I've sit and marinated on it a little bit more and seen like the value I did get out of Saturday, because it was still really good. And all things considered, like it was raining, but it could have been really windy. My sister and I could have been chasing my product all down the street. We weren't doing any of that, and we were damp. That was really it. We made the best of it. We had a lot of fun. So all good things. But now time for a mini break. Nope, that's not what I wanted you to do at all. Erase. There it is. So I had a pile of things that were kind of like waiting for after the market. And this is one of those things. So I'm very excited to sink my teeth into this tarot project and see where it goes. Get a lot more of the drawings done and explore some different kinds of things for a bit. Also have a bit of a rest, you know? Read some books, enjoy the sunshine. Oops. Sorry, my legs are falling asleep. There we go. Get back. So what's everybody working on tonight? Are we drawing? Are we just cooking dinner? I haven't had my dinner yet, but it's waiting for me. It's ready. Oops. Oh, I didn't tell a Discord I was online. Nuts. Okay, so I think we have most of the shadows in. I think I want to put one here. I'm not going to worry about her, like the lips and the necklace and her nails and stuff right now, because I might want to treat them a little differently from how this is, but we can figure that out after. It's fine to leave them as they are for right now. No, no. Where are you? Ooh. I worked on this one off stream. I can't recall if I finished this. Maybe after the stream I kind of finished some of the colors. But I didn't get a chance a lot to work on this one this week just because of the market preparation and preparation for my sister coming. I might have finished off the paper patterns. I can't remember if we finished those last week. But all this shading is all kind of just today. Okay, let's duplicate this layer, but then clean it out. Clear the layer out. Actually, a few extras in here. I am eager to kind of work on this a little bit in between work and stuff now. Okay, so this is just another overlay. We're just going to kind of put overlay layers. Sorry, we're going to put the highlights on the highlighted sections. Oops. Okay. Oh, it's the wrong one. That's why. There we go. I'll try and work on some of these in between the streams, just to kind of as I feel inspired to work on them. But sometimes the week's a little busier than you planned, so I don't think I got too much extra done on this one. Too much adulting last week. Whoops, nope. Doesn't matter. Sorry, my legs are falling asleep. Here we go. I am thinking, as I mentioned, I'm going to try and build a library for these just through Adobe, just kind of a palette of colors, a palette of brushes, things like that. I don't know how much I can and can't do. So I'm going to figure some things out, but I think I might record a video or something, a tutorial on it once I figure it out. Because I think it's going to be really valuable and it's going to really help this project along, so I won't have to kind of figure out each time, remember what erasers and sizes of brushes and everything I used. So I'm going to figure that out and I will share that with everybody once I have it sorted. So you can see what I'm using and how I'm building it. The paper patterns, like the automatic palettes that Fresco creates, is huge in this though, so that really helps me to get pretty close. In between each piece. Oh my gosh, 7:30 already. My goodness. Oops, nope, nope, nope. So for this card, sorry, I kind of just went silent there for a sec. I got so focused on what I was working on. So this card, as I mentioned at the start, is the Three of Wands. The Wands is a suit, I guess, in the tarot deck. In this deck, it's actually going to be the Three of Tents. So this is going to be, this suit is going to be full of different tents that are in the book, or inspired by the tents that are in the book. And this first one is our fortune teller. As I mentioned last week, this character, she's kind of a big deal throughout the book, but this is, I tried to kind of stick to just her tent in this case, and not get too much into her character. Although we did comment last week that she was kind of a little atypical of what you would picture in a fortune teller. She doesn't have all the scarves and beads and everything. She does have the a little more of a kind of conservative English lady vibe, but like that character, I believe would be more. I read her to be more this style. But like the way the card's read is you come into. Let me just check and make sure. Okay. Keys might head out soon. It's late. Oh my gosh, it's super late there. Well, thank you for tuning in for now as you're here. I really appreciate that. I know it's pretty late for you guys. So the actual kind of like indication or meaning of the like Three of Wands usually means like progress and expansion and foresight, and overseeing of opportunities. So I think that that's where a fortune teller really comes in, that foreseeing of things going on. So like that really plays in. So I really thought that the fortune teller would really apply here, and I think she does. So for those of you who missed last week, you walk into her tent. There's like a beaded curtain, which I'll show you in 2 seconds. We do have the beaded curtain here. You walk in, and in this case, she doesn't have your typical tarot deck or crystal balls, but it's full of candles. So that's where that pile of candles come in, that we saw just earlier. Do you want down? Okay, careful, buddy. Sorry, buddy. You hold still. Good boy. But she has the stars that we'll see in 2 seconds when I zoom out here. So she has a series of silver stars that she uses to read. So kind of like maybe the bones or whatever that you see in some kind of witch lore and all that kind of stuff. I would personally love if you'd stream earlier, like Sunday earlier. If I had freer weekends, Keys, I would be down for that as well. I am hoping to put in a second stream at some point. But right now the system is busy, but I will see what I can do for you. I know I do have a lot of people that kind of stream, that kind of join in regularly, that are on the European side of things. I do appreciate you guys all tuning in from such far distances. The work schedule kind of gets in the way, unfortunately, but I will do whatever I can for sure. You can always come back and rewatch the streams. They're always saved on Behance, YouTube, and or Facebook. Yeah, so this is all that kind of reasoning. Oh yeah, whew. I love it. I love it. It's coming to life. I really like it. Okay, we've got some time. We're going to put in some big shadows in the black and white here. So that's kind of where that came from, and the reason why I picked the fortune teller for this card. So when you draw her, you get that foresight looking, or if it's reversed, like when you're reading tarot, sometimes depending on how you read or who you're talking with or whatever, the card being upside down reads a different way. So it's like lack of foresight and things. And what was the other one I just read? It was unexpected delays and things. And when you run into the fortune teller and her tents, there are kind of like hiccups happening. No spoilers, but I'll let you figure that out for yourself. So yeah, I felt like the timing of this card really worked out really well. I don't know if it was the author's intent. I know the tarot is kind of in her mind when she was writing this. I know she kind of illustrated her own tarot deck, which I actually have here. So I know it's in her mind, but there's a lot of things that just really play into each of the cards, which is kind of where all of this came from. Okay, so we're gonna do the main shadows. Yes, the main shadows on the black and white part. Just like last time, I'm making sure that my layers are underneath that hue adjustment layer. So that dark gray layer you see there with the kind of box with the 3 different shades of gray, that's desaturating everything underneath it. That's creating that black and white, taking all the color out. So I'm trying to make sure that my layers are underneath there. So in case I pick a gray that has a bit of a blue or a bit of a red or tan or something in it, it won't matter. It's going to knock it right to black and white. So we don't have surprise colors kind of all over the card. We're going to make sure that we have a good solid black and white and that good contrast between the two things. I think I had about a 50% situation happening. We want a bigger brush. Even bigger. Okay, great. This is on multiply, right? Yeah, okay, good. So we're gonna put some shadows into all of our black and white sections here. I love how the multiply works here. So great. It's gonna really pull together some of those colors, which is super fun. One second. Excuse me. Leave the neighbors alone, you crazy. Come here, please. So wait, you're coloring with hue undertones. Hues and tones, it's magic. So this layer here, the one that's highlighted, stop, please. Excuse me. I created this. I can't remember if I did it on the live stream or not. But what this layer is doing, I don't know if I can... How do I edit this? What I did for this, when I created this layer, I did a hue saturation layer and took all the saturation out is what I did. So that means anything underneath, this is just duplicating the effort, so I'm going to undo that. So that means anything underneath that layer right now is going to be black and white. So you can see all these layers here. We've got all these colors, like the music box, the music notes, and the words. That's all what's in her hair. So that sucks all the color out of it to ensure that it's black and white the whole time. If I had just wanted that layer to impact a single layer, you can do the little arrow underneath. So the arrow beside it, I wish this would highlight and tell me what it says. But it creates that little arrow, and then that just impacts the single layer underneath. So you can see all that colors pop back in. It's now impacting only the shading. But if I undo that and have it just be like that, now the layering matters. So if I put anything that happens underneath that hue saturation layer that I created will be impacted by what I did there. So if instead of desaturating it, here sucking all the color out of it, if I had changed it kind of a more blue hue or blue whatever, like a red hue or a green hue, all of them would be impacted by that. Yes, just like an adjustment layer in Photoshop. So it's just this impacts everything, or I can have it just impact a single layer. So it's going to help me a lot here because I can kind of like get in the moment and kind of go all over the place. This will ensure that everything stays nice and black and white, because that's a big deal for the style and kind of the impact I want to these cards. Again, a Night Circus inspired, but the black and white versus red is a big deal there. So this will help keep me on track. Just leave them alone, buddy. Here, good boy. Fair enough. Yeah, so I'm not familiar with fresco, but I understand PS. Yeah, so I don't use these kinds of layers too much in Photoshop, so that's kind of the opposite. I use the levels a lot in Photoshop, but I don't use the hue saturation too much sometimes. But this full desaturation, usually I just desaturate the image rather than the like the full layers this underneath impact. So it's a little different from how I would Photoshop. We have Clever Devlin here. Hi, how's it going? I like this. Neat. Thank you so much. We're working on a tarot deck. That's what we're working on. Card 1.5 of many. Okay. So what is happening here? Why is that doing that? Oh yeah, all of this is underneath the red, which is super nice. I don't have to worry about those too much. Okay, so let's, because we're running out of time, I would normally just do all the shadows and all the highlights, but we're running out of time here. So let's do the big overlay one, and then we'll do the little pieces and see where we're at. Oh, you know what? I don't want to have all that color in there. Let's lasso it. Okay, pull that back a little bit, and then we'll duplicate this layer and clear it out. The only advantage to duplicating this and clearing it out is just like it's maintaining that overlay feature. It just saves me from having to reset the overlay. There's not really a lot of super advantage there. That's just kind of for my own sanity. I don't have to reset something. It's probably the same number of clicks, so not really a big deal. Just something that feels easier to track in my head. It's already in bed, but this fortune teller Aaron's working on caught my eye. Magic. I'll try and get another earlier stream in for you, Keys. I know, but there's so many streamers on the weekends. I don't want to overlap them either. There's so many great streamers on Saturdays. My routine when I don't have an event of some kind is usually just kind of having my coffee and illustrating while everybody's doing their streams. You're in Fresco and you're keeping the work there. Yes, I'm in Fresco right now, and while I'm working on a piece, I generally leave it in the cloud on Fresco. When I'm finished a piece, oh goodness me, Mojo. When I finish up a piece, if I think of it, or if there's like a logical breaking point, like with the market content and stuff that I work on, I will take some time and get all of my Photoshop files and PDFs and all that kind of stuff. I'll get them onto my desktop just as a backup, but everything is saved in Fresco on the cloud right now. I have the whole creative suite, so I use those features as much as I can. Boop, boop, boop. Fresco's great. I love it. Yeah, I discovered Fresco 3 years ago now. It was the first pandemic Adobe Max, and they were advertising it. I don't think it had been launched, but it was kind of like their first big kickoff of it. And I tried it on the iPad, and I was obsessed with it because I find a great middle ground for me, kind of Photoshop Illustrator, especially with the vector brushes. I love it so much. Yeah, but Photoshop is phenomenal now. And Illustrator, yeah, all the software, everybody's got, each one has its own features. I like, for my own personal work, I like that Fresco's kind of a middle ground there, but I'm always an Illustrator for work. It depends on what I'm creating, I guess. And then Photoshop as well. It's just kind of all the fun things. And I kind of like how they're integrated now, so you can kind of go back and forth. I haven't for this project, but when I did the stained glass pieces last year, I'd create a lot of the stained glass structure in Illustrator and then bring it over into Fresco. This is a bit more organic, so I'm building it almost all in Fresco unless I do the sketch in my sketchbook or something. But yeah, they're all pretty awesome. All right, so let's clear that layer, darling. And then we'll get these shadows in. Different brush, there we go. And Fresco is kind of the first software of this kind where I've kind of learned it by myself. Like I've obviously watched some tutorials and some live streams and things, but kind of taught it myself, like where I wasn't influenced by work or school or push. So it's been really fun to kind of push it and see and teach myself kind of like, oh, I wonder if it can do this. I wonder if it can do that. It can do a lot of things. It's been a lot of fun. Like I want to try this. Does it do that? The next thing, I've said this a few times. No, enough. I said stop, you silly goose. No, come here, please. Leave them alone. I want you to leave them alone. They're just doing their life. You're fine. Crazy man. You sit with me, please. The next thing, like I said, I've said this a lot, so I'm going to have to do it at some point, but I really want to get into the animation features that Fresco has here. I just usually think of it partway through an illustration, and I haven't really built it for animation. So we'll get there at some point. We'll learn together. It'll be fun. So used to Photoshop and AI that I work in full screen presentation mode in them. Yeah, that was the big adjustment for me for Fresco, because I'm a huge shortcuts person. I learned Illustrator and Photoshop on the desktop, so I'm huge into shortcuts, like to the point where like I'm training people at work and I'll be like, use Control T in the software. I'm like, I don't even know what that tool is. I don't even know where it is, but this is what it does, and that's the shortcut. But so that was a bit of an adjustment. That's why I haven't really gotten into Illustrator and Photoshop on the iPad as much, because I'm a huge shortcuts person for those softwares. That's just how I learned them. So if I get into any Illustrator work or anything, I tend to put it on the desktop just because I can click away. But this one I've been getting used to some shortcuts. Like there's different shortcuts. Like right now, like I just switched to my eraser. It's just double click on the Apple Pencil. So there's little shortcuts like that you can use. So I'm trying to learn those. Let me see. I think we need a shadow on that one too. I don't want to have too many doubles, but I think this one needs a shadow. It's a little too bright at the bottom here. Just a little bit. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's save that now. Holy cow, whole hour. We didn't make much progress, but I'm feeling like I'm liking that this is kind of coming across in a very similar way to the other ones. So I'll go back to the kittens for a second to show you what we're trying to kind of replicate over here. It's a very large file, so I'm gonna have to be careful with that. I might export that Photoshop file just to be on the safe side. So this is kind of the style we're going for. So right now we've done kind of what we did on the hair here. I'm trying to imitate the same thing on the black and white with the highlights and the darks. And then we'll get into this kind of paper cutout. Oh dear, please don't do that. There we go. Kind of paper cutout look on the pieces a little bit later. But we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go with a fortune teller and getting the colors, ironed out. So we're going to continue in this same fashion as I work through my next step. Like I did all of her, kind of the top of her hat there, but normally I do all the dark shadows and all the light ones and then get into like the tiny pieces. So I suspect I'll do the same thing with her hair and the coat next, just to see how that vibe comes through. And then we'll work out the stars and all that kind of stuff. So now that the market is finished for now, like I said, I'm taking a break from that kind of the side of things. I'm really focusing on these. So I suspect I'll have a little bit more progress for everybody by the time I do my next live to show everybody where things are at. But I think for now, Keys needs to go to bed and I need to eat some supper. So I'm going to let everybody get on with their night. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to continue with this. I don't have a screen tablet currently, not getting into these apps too much. That's fair. I think that this one really, I think you can get Fresco on the desktop, but I think this really lends really well on the iPad. And that's why I'm really liking it, because I can kind of pick it up and go and not worry about getting too messy or dirty or anything in it. I can just kind of pick on it a little bit and then move along with my day. I really appreciate that. But yeah, if you don't have a tablet, that kind of defeats the purpose. So yeah, I'm going to work on this a little bit more in the next week or so. I might not stream next week. Next Monday is a holiday where I'm at. So people are going to be on vacation and things. I'm going to play it by ear. If I'm streaming, check out my stories and everything and see how, if I'm going to be streaming. If not, I'll be here in 2 weeks to stream with you guys, and we'll have much more progress on this lovely lady. And then maybe we'll kind of put the final touches on her, maybe, or start a new one. I think we'll work on this one next time. I do not anticipate finishing her before the next stream. So we'll be back with this lovely lady next time. But for now, thank you so much to everybody who came out to the market, who tuned in for that, who's followed me since. The shop is back up online, so if anybody's interested in stickers or bookmarks or coloring books, anything gnome-like, they're all available on the shop right now. So if you're interested, please go take a look and send me a message if you're not sure about something. And I'm just going to have the shop available till the end of May, and then I'm going to close it for the summer so I can take it off the summer and just really build for the fall, but also take some time off and enjoy the summer a little bit. So if you're interested, please head over. It's hues-tones.square.site. There should be a link in my just below on Behance or in my bio, wherever you're looking. So yeah, that's a big catch up for everything. So thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. It's been really amazing. Didn't make a lot of progress, but I think it's already stepping in the right direction. I'm very excited. I'm going to go keep working on it right now. So I hope you all have an amazing night. Thank you, Clever Devlin, for tuning in. Keys, I know Alessandra's gone. Everybody else who is here, thank you so much. My parents are here. Everybody else, I appreciate it. I hope you have a great night and a great week, and I'll see you either next week or the week after. So check out the stories and see if I'm going to be around. Have a great night, guys. Thanks so much.